Welcome to another edition of Rust Rants. I'm John Rust, and I come on and go off about, well, whatever's honking me off today. Well, you can add the HBO Max series Velma to the overflowing dumpster of garbage woke programs. It's not just me saying that this show is putrid. Listen to this. You go to Rotten Tomatoes. Velma, get ready for this. Velma has a 6% audience score. That's 6. This much. Even the mainstream critics who normally champion these wretched shows only gave it a 47% score. And according to Forbes magazine, Velma is now the third worst rated show in TV history on IMDb. And in case you're wondering, Velma just beat out that awful Lily Singh talk show from a few years ago, and it came in behind some show about a teen star from Turkey and a documentary about a French soccer player named Paul Pogba. And now, I've not seen any episodes of Velma. I have no intention of seeing any episodes of Velma. I've only seen clips of the show, and from what I've seen, it was just mean-spirited, unfunny, identity politics obsessed crud. Now, I can come on this podcast and go off for the next 5 minutes about how woke Velma is, but to me, the problem with present-day Hollywood goes much deeper than saying they're all woke. You look at shows like Velma, She-Hulk, Rings of Power, Star Trek Discovery, Batwoman. The people making this content, in my opinion, are narcissists. In fact, I think they're borderline nihilists. I think, and being a writer myself, I feel that your personality as a writer is reflected in your work. And if that's the case, when you look at Velma, that show's producer, Mindy Kaling, has to be one of the angriest, most disillusioned, most unhappy person out there. And she's not alone in this. I mean, you look at stuff like She-Hulk and Batwoman, the way they constantly put down men, especially straight white men. There are no clever bits of sarcasm, no witty zingers like you'd see in a show like, for example, Red Dwarf, the great BBC sci-fi show from the 70s and 80s. Love that show. Just a lot of really great funny lines. But, you know, these lines, they're like I said, they're not done from a place of love. You know, what's supposed to be funny lines, it comes from a place of utter contempt. Which brings me to my next point, that these people just live in an absolute bubble where they think this country is horrible, the world is horrible, mainly because of the evil patriarchy. So they have zero sense of humor. They have no optimism, they have no warmth, they have no true moral compass. They also lack something that I think is essential to writing, and that is empathy. Anyone who doesn't believe the way they do is not just wrong, they're an evil person. And because of that, they can't get basically the one thing you must do if you're going to be a successful writer or successful creative. They can't get into the other person's head. They can't see the world through their eyes. That's why they can't write really good morality tales, like, say, for example, the Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode Sanctuary, where a group of aliens want to settle on Bajor because they believe it was their planet of origin, but the Bajorans don't think that they can take all those aliens in because they themselves haven't recovered from years of occupation by another alien race, the Cardassians. And it's done in such a way that you can understand the points made by both sides in this show. But if that episode were done today, with the kind of Hollywood writers we have today, the Bajorans would be portrayed as evil racists, and the aliens seeking sanctuary would be the poor, downtrodden victims. Now, that lack of empathy also means no compassion for other people or guilt when, say, a person feels they might have done something bad. A good example of this is you look at one of those Star Trek Discovery shorts where you have this awkward middle-aged scientist, male scientist, who is constantly put down by his crew. He winds up genetically engineering some tribbles. They create a wave, and he creates a wave of them that just smothers him to death. So the officer in charge of this ship gives her report to a board of inquiry for Starfleet, and she says the whole thing was this scientist's fault because he was an idiot. Not an ounce of sympathy for this guy, not an ounce of guilt on her part for anything. Now you compare that with, say, Babylon 5 during the Earth Civil War story arc, where Captain Sheridan and his crew talk about how hard it is to fight people who had been friends and fellow soldiers. There are even scenes where you have Sheridan begging the crews of burning ships from the other side to get in the life pod so they can save them. That shows compassion. That shows honor. But you won't see that on most shows and movies today because the people making them lack all of those qualities. Again, in my opinion. Now, a friend of mine who used to work here at KYCA, Bob Wiley, who actually worked in Hollywood for a while. I think he did stuff with The Tonight Show. He did stuff with the Man Show. He told me one time why so much of today's entertainment sucks. He said, you can't write good characters if you have no character yourself. And judging by garbage like Velma and She-Hulk and Star Trek Discovery, I think it's clear that these Hollywood types have zero character. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this edition of Rust Rants. Be sure to like, share, follow, and subscribe across all of KYCA's social media. That's Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, Twitter, our brand new Twitter page. Go to that. Also, check us out at kyca.info. Be sure to smash the like button, leave a comment. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this video. Till next time, I'm John Rust. I'll see you soon.